This next song is about an incident that gets our vote for the most bizarre New Mexico story of the year. It involves two school teachers from Queens, New York, Jerry and Rita Alter, who retired and moved to Cliff, New Mexico, which is a very tiny rural town near Silver City. In the last census, its population was 203. The Alters lived a quiet life in Cliff until they died in 2017. Based on what happened next, they are now the main, really the only suspects in one of the biggest art thefts of the century, in which a painting by Willem de Kooning worth $160 million was taken from a very poorly secured art museum in Tucson and remained missing for over 30 years. Kathy, tell us a little more about it.
Come and listen to my story about Jerry and his wife. Everybody thought they lived a quiet little life. But below the surface of Cliff, New Mexico, they were millionaire art thieves, which just goes to show you never know, do ya? So here is the story of their big art theft. When they cut it from the frame, there wasn't nothing left worth 100 million, a real nice haul. But when they took it home, they just hung it on the wall, right behind a door where nobody could see it but themselves. Then they never tried to sell it, didn't care about the dough. Seems that they just liked the way it looked, and so they kept it for themselves in their own bedroom. It was their own little personal private de Kooning, that is, 20th century Dutch expressionist. For 32 years till the day they died, no one else was ever allowed inside. Then a dealer made an estate sale stop, took a liking to the painting and bought it for his shop. Didn't know what he had until at the dealer's shop it was recognized. And when he checked it out, the dealer was surprised. A stolen painting worth 100 mil or more. It scared him half to death just to keep it in his store. He hid it in the only room that had its own lock, the John. When he called up the museum, they couldn't believe. And when they got it back, they were so relieved. They were glad to see it safe from harm, and they finally put in a burglar alarm. About time, too. Y'all come back now, you hear?
Another fascinating aspect of this already strange story came to light when it was discovered that Jerry Alder had published a little book of short stories. You can order it on Amazon. One of the pieces in that book told the story of a couple who stole a priceless emerald from a museum and then kept it at home just to admire privately. To some people, this suggested a rather unusual motive. Maybe the Alders just loved that painting so much that they became obsessed with having it all to themselves. And since they couldn't possibly buy a $160 million painting, they decided to just take it.
Hey you all, what's that painting on your wall? The one you've hidden carefully from view. Just because you can't afford it, it's not right to steal and hoard it. Give other folks a chance to see it too, yeah. Hey you guys, do you think it's really wise to yearn for something way beyond your means? And no matter how you feel, it is just plain wrong to steal. What